sunflower disco. Disco, sunflower disco. Disco, sunflower disco. Disco, 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 disco. Disco, 1, 2. Disco, sunflower disco. Disco, sunflower disco. Disco, sunflower disco. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Disco, sunflower disco. Disco, sunflower disco. Disco, sunflower disco. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Disco, sunflower disco. Disco, sunflower disco.